to my channel. I can't even with my hair right now. I'm sure it's sticking up in every direction, but I just spent 5 minutes in the viewfinder messing with it, and I'm just over it. So today I am going to talk about my newest obsession in eyeshadows, and it's the Viseart Theory Palette in Amethyst. I hauled this recently, and a lot of y'all asked for tutorials with looks on this palette because I know you also have it. So I decided to kind of do a miniature version of my 5 looks using so-and-so shadows, and I did 3 looks using this palette. This is one of them. You've seen this look and you've seen this shirt in probably my last video, my skin tint video, but I'm going out of town, so I'm having to pre-film a lot. So I just want to very quickly, I'm going to show you swatches, and I'll probably insert them, and then I am going to go ahead and cut it into the demo. But it has 3 shimmers on this side, 3 mattes. It's only $45, which a lot of people are like, $45? But for Viseart, the quality that you get is worth way more than that. And honestly, it's worth $45. It's not that expensive. The pans do come out very easily. They're magnetic. I have 2 other Theory palettes. I have the Cashmere and the Minx, and they are already automatically depotted, and I put them into my kit. And I use them in some form or fashion in almost every look. So very, very, very worth the money, and I'm not going to stay too long on this because I do want to get into the demos. If you are interested in seeing the 3 looks that I came up with using this palette, and trust me, there are infinite amount of looks that you can come up with. These are just the ones I wanted to show y'all. Then just keep on watching. Okay, so this look is gonna be kind of the one that you would expect to see from this palette, meaning it's gonna have the shimmer on the eye or on the lid. It's gonna have, you know, a transition color, a crease color, an outer V, you know, it's gonna be like your standard look. But I wanted to start out with this because I wanted to show you how all-inclusive this palette is. I have primed my eyes. The only thing that I have not done or used with this palette, I don't feel like it has necessarily a good setting your primer color. This one will work and has worked in the past, but I just prefer to just use whatever powder I'm using that day so that I don't have to get out another eyeshadow. So it's still not like an extra step, I don't think, because I already have my products laid out and I'm just using my powder. So I have done that. So I am going to go in with this lightest color, and honestly, it's not going to show up much. It's going to kind of serve the purpose of like Peach Smoothie for Makeup Geek or something, just to set a color down and help the powder blend a little easier. So I'm just going to take that on a fluffy brush and blend that into my crease. Again, it's not going to show up much. It's just kind of a guide for your other crease colors to help blend them out more. Now I'm going to take a little bit of a smaller brush. This is the Zoeva 228 Luxe Crease, and I'm going to go in with the next darkest matte shade, this middle shade right here, and I'm just going to focus that in my crease as well. For those of you who don't really like the 12 pan Viseart palettes, I, for some reason, feel like these mattes are a little bit of a different formula than the 12 pan. And I know a lot of complaints about the 12 pan for the people that may not love it is that it can be a bit of a drier formula, which I agree with. I do think it's a drier formula. I don't mind that. But I feel like these are a little bit less dry than the 12 pan pigments, or pans. So just keep that in mind if you don't have any of the Theory palettes. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect because we are going to go over it with the lid color and blend it out later, but I'm going to lay down my base. Today it's going to be Marc Jacobs Twinkle Pop in Honey Bunny. So it's just a cream eyeshadow stick, and it is kind of like a pink champagne color. So I'm just going to lay this down on my lid up to the crease. It's going to be covered with our lid color, so we're not trying to be precise here. And then we're going to take the middle shimmer color. So this color right here, I hope to goodness that that's focusing. And could you have guessed what brush I'm going to use? My Sedona Lace 941. And I'm going to really build that up onto the brush, and I'm going to place it on top of that base that we just left down. This is such a beautiful, like, pearlized lavender color. Like lavender lilac. I wouldn't even call it, like, well, obviously lavender and lilac is a type of purple, but I don't know. It's just Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. When I first swatched this palette, this was by far my favorite color. You can go back in there and pat it on with your finger if you want more pigmentation, but I don't need more pigmentation than this. Now I'm going to go in with the darkest matte purple color, this one right here. And I'm going to take my 234 Luxe Smoky Shader from Zoeva. And I'm going to use this brush to place it on my outer V. And then I'll blend it in with another one. High maintenance? Well, yes. Yes, it is. Do you have to do it like that? No. You don't have to do anything I do. I'm just showing you how I do it. This just helps the placement be more precise versus going straight in with a fluffy brush and getting that dark purple everywhere. So now I'm taking my Morphe 433, and then I'm just going to kind of blend that dark color in. Okay, so now I'm going to take this big Morphe E27 brush, and I'm going to take the lightest color that we initially put down for our very first transition color, and I'm going to put that on the brush and just blend all the colors in the crease so that there's no harsh lines, and it does tone down the purple just a little bit. It just blends everything out. So in true Mandy fashion, I'm not going to do a liner today. I am going to finish up my face makeup and I'll be back to do my lower lash. So the under eye is going to be really simple today. I am just going to mix these two colors on my Morphe M507 brush. Surprise, surprise. There are some things I just don't get away from. And this brush and my Sedona Lace brush. So all I did was buff that underneath the eye, and you can tell the difference. Like, I honestly love a good smoked out under eye. Y'all know that. Oh, as always, be sure and connect it on the outside so that you don't have like a line right here where there's no shadow. That's all I'm going to do for the under eyes. So it's the first look using the Viseart Theory palette in Amethyst, and you can see it's just like, it's a normal look for me. Like shimmer on the eye, mid-tone in the crease, dark on the outer V. We're going to get a little bit different with some other looks, but this is the first one I wanted to show you because I feel like it's the one that y'all are going to be most comfortable with. I really like this palette. So I'll see you for my next look in just a second. So today we're going to do an all matte look. I love a shimmer on the lid. Y'all know this, but I also think and have spoken before about the sophisticated aura that I think an all matte look really puts out. So what I have done so far is I primed with my MAC Soft Ochre paint pot, but I have not set that primer. And I'm actually going to use this color right here, which I think I had said before. I don't know what look is going up first, but I think I've mentioned that this was a little dark to set the lid, but because I'm going all matte and because that will eventually be my lid color, I'm going to use that to set my primer all over. I'm actually going to use my Cosette S165 to do that. So before we do anything, I am going to build up that color on the lid. I'm fully aware that I'm going to have to go back in and do this again, but I just want to start the layers so that I can get the end result that I want. So I'm just going to take my Zoeva 234 Smoky Shader, and I'm going to pick that color up, and I'm just going to kind of pack it all over my lid on both eyes. Such a pretty, natural, very subtle, like, it's not a pink. It almost has a mauve tint to it. Just when I think I'm good at describing something, I start to describe this. Okay, so what I'm also going to do is I'm going to take that same color up into the crease as a transition color, and it's also just going to add onto the lid color as well. And I'm going to use my Morphe E27, one of my very favorite transition color brushes. And this will not be seen at the end, but it does help when blending other colors out. Already, I absolutely adore that color on the lid, and I hope that the lights aren't washing it out. All right, now I'm going to go into the middle color right here. And I'm going to take my Morphe M441 brush, tap it off, and I'm just going to start applying that in the crease. You know, I oftentimes say don't worry about being precise in the crease. When you're doing an all matte look, you want to worry about being precise because I'm not going to be covering up my lid with any kind of base. So I don't want to get too much of this color on my lid. Always look in your mirror straight ahead to make sure that you have the same amount of shadow peeking out of this eye than that eye. Very rarely do we have even eyes, and we want to make sure that that part at least is even. So in between each step, we're going to continue to pack on that lid color. So I'm going to take that same Smokey shader brush, go back over, and continue to pack it on. Now I'm going to go back in with that same mid-tone color, and I just want to kind of define the crease a little bit more. So I'm going to take my Luxie 231 Petite crease. So it's a little bit smaller than your normal crease brush. It's going to define it a little bit better. And I'm just going to darken up that same color that we applied in the crease, but it's so much more precise, which precision, again, is key when you're doing an all matte look. Go back in with the transition color brush and kind of buff out that upper line. Go back in with that light shade and pack it on your lid. And then as a final step, we're just going to put a little bit of the darkest purple in the palette. And for this, I'm going to use my Sephora Pro shader number 18. So it's this really tiny little shader brush. And again, it's all about precision. So the smaller the brush, the better. I'm just going to get a little bit on there and tap it off. And then I'm just going to get right on the outer V. The size of the brush is really important, because if I were to go in with something like the Sigma E25 blending brush to do my outer V work, it would end up being a very dark purple smoky eye very quickly, which I'm not really going for. I mean, obviously this is purple, but I just want the definition to be right on the outer part of my eye. And one last time, if you have any shadow left in the pan, go back over with that lid shadow to lighten everything up one last time and to also blend it in with that outer V color. So when I do an all matte look, I really like to wear liner. Y'all know I'm not a huge liner person. I don't know, I just don't think it really does much for my under eye, or for my under eye. I was just looking at my under eyes, that's why I said that. I just don't really think it does that much for my eyes. I mean, it's good. I just like open eye looks. But when I'm doing an all matte, I do prefer to wear liner. So I'm just using the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner in Mad Max Brown. I know you're probably thinking, why is she using a brown liner with a purple cool tone look? But honestly, this is so dark brown that I feel like it just looks like a less harsh black, which I don't want anything harsh on my eyes, so it works. Now I am not going to do much on the under eye. I'm simply going to take this mid-tone color on, what was that you said? My Morphe M507? What? And pick whatever that was off my forehead. I'm just going to sweep it under my eyes. I don't want, I mean, it'd be very easy to very quickly make this like a full-on smoky eye look, but I do want to kind of cover up some of my under eyes. I have been out of that IT serum, the Bye Bye Line serum that I've raved about. I've been out of it for like 3 weeks, and it's supposed to come in the mail today, but holy cow, it's one of those products that you don't even really understand how much you absolutely love it and need it. An eyelash in my eye until you don't have it anymore. And my freaking under eyes went berserk when I stopped using that. And they've aged like 10 years, so I cannot wait for it to come in the mail. Now, because this is all matte, I am going to take one of those, this lightest shimmer color right here, wrong side, and I'm going to put it on my inner corner and brow bone. I feel like there's more room to play with shimmer in those areas when you do have an all matte look. This is not like an in-your-face shimmer color, I don't think anyways, so it's not going to be a huge deal anyways. It's just going to brighten up that inner corner just a little bit. Which who doesn't want to brighten up? A little bit under the brow bone. And here's the finished look with the all matte colors with one little bit of shimmer from the Viseart Amethyst palette. I really like this look. I said it before, I don't do matte looks enough. I love a good shimmer on the lid, but whenever I do, just, you know, tell myself I need to change it up and do a matte look, I always just really like it. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and we'll give it a try if you have this palette, or really any eyeshadows, I really encourage you, if you're not used to all matte looks, to do that. I know a lot of people like over a certain age think that all they can wear is mattes. I 100,000% do not agree with that. However, I do think that it does look very classy, and that if you are uncomfortable wearing shimmers, this is just another way that you could use this palette and have a really pretty purple, cool toned matte eye. All right, so we're just gonna try something today. I honestly have no idea how it's gonna turn out, but we're gonna try it. I wanted to work with the darker color more on this look, so I'm actually gonna start on my lid first. So I'm gonna take the darkest color right here, this dark purple, on a Morphe M433, a MAC 217, a Sigma E25, something like that. And I'm just gonna start, now definitely do your eyes first when you do something like this. I'm just gonna start sweeping it across my lid. And it's okay if it gets up into the crease. I kind of want it to. And then just kind of blend it as you go. All the way across. I mean, go big or go home, right? And then just kind of tap on the areas that maybe you want a little bit more pigmentation. So this is like going to be the bulk of the look. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with another fluffy brush and kind of blend out the edges a little bit. The Zoeva 221. And it doesn't have any product on it. I just, right now, want to blend out those edges. If you want to, you can take a little bit more of a precise brush. I never remember to turn my phone off when I'm filming. I'm sorry. And, like, there's just a piece of my eye right there that does not want to be covered. And kind of pack that on a little bit more. And it's okay because I'm going to put a shadow on top of this. So, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. But, again, this is why you want to do your eyes first, because you will encounter fallout. No matter how good the shadow is, there will be fallout, and a lot of times the better the shadow is, the more fallout it has. And just do that on the other eye. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to take the lightest color right here, and I'm gonna mix it with that mid-tone matte on a separate fluffy brush. Actually, you could still go in with this. Let's do that so we don't have to dirty up a ton of brushes. So I'm just gonna mix those two colors on this and then just further blend out that darker color in the crease so that there's somewhat of a gradient and it doesn't look as harsh. So we're thinking like a full-on purple smoky eye, right? Which, I mean, in an essence, yes. But this is just a little too dark for me today. I mean, there are definitely occasions where I would completely just do mascara and go. But I'm gonna do this lightest shimmer color. And I haven't really used this one. Aside from like highlighting. I always point to the wrong side. It's this one. And I'm going to take it on my ring finger. It honestly doesn't matter. It's just a very shimmery pink color. And I'm just going to pat that on top of that purple. Kind of sticking to the middle. I mean, I don't want to get too far in. Just like that. So then this light pink turns into a light purple because you're putting it over that dark base. But it brightens up the eye exponentially. And then I am going to take a clean fluffy brush and just kind of fluff it around the edges so that you can diffuse any of the marks between the bright color and the shimmer color and the matte color, and then just build it up accordingly. So just keep patting on, keep blending out, keep patting on, keep blending out until you get to the kind of level of pigmentation that you want on your lid, which I think is going to be right here. I can always go back in after mascara and apply more, but for now, that's all I'm going to do on the upper portion of my eye. So today we are going to go a little bit darker on the lower lash line. So I'm going to take my Wayne Goss number 5 brush and go into the dark purple and kind of just line my lower lash line. I'm only going to go about halfway in, but like I always say, be sure to attach on the outer corner. And then I'm going to, like I did in the crease, just mix those two matte colors with my M507 and kind of buff out that dark purple. And I'll take the lighter colors all the way in, so it kind of drags the darker a little bit farther than halfway, but it doesn't completely close up your eye. And then as the final step, I'm just going to put a little bit of that lightest pink color on my inner corners and brow bone. I mean, this comes off pink, but I actually kind of like that pink kind of monochromatic, not monochromatic, but duochrome look on the brow bone. I don't know. I just think it's pretty. So this is the final eye look. It's the final eye look I think that I'm going to do for the Viseart Amethyst palette. But I don't know, it might be my favorite. Yeah, I really like this eye. So those are 3 of the looks that I came up with using the Amethyst palette, and honestly, they're endless. The possibilities are endless. So I really recommend this. It might be my favorite one out of the 3 that I own. I will be getting Nuance as well, just haven't gotten it yet, but awesome palette. So hopefully you enjoyed this 3 looks using the Viseart palette. If you have any other palettes you want me to do something like this with, please let me know. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a very blessed day.